Right. Good evening, everybody. May I introduce Keith Gray, who's the clerk for Aylesbury Town Council, who's going to do our minutes tonight. To receive apologies for absence, and everyone's here. For councillors to declare any personal or prejudicial interest in items on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, on advice of Clerk Jensen, I wish it to be recorded in the minutes that I distance myself from the personal statements made by Councillor Maskell at the meeting of the Parish Council on the 1st of October. And I don't know if any other councillors want to join me.
I too would like to distance myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillors, to approve the minutes of the Parish Council meeting held on the 1st of October 2014.
I'd like this vote to be recorded, Mr. Chairman, and I vote against the motion to approve the minutes.
May I have a proposer and a seconder, please?
I'll propose to accept the minutes, Chairman.
Seconder, please. Is there no seconder?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Were you here, Matt?
Yes, but I'm not sure what was going on.
We weren't here. Paul and I weren't here at that last meeting, so.
They're not limited. Councillor.
It should be.
Did you wish your remarks to be minuted at the last meeting? Did you ask for that?
No, I wish to.
Are you?
I wish it to be recorded that I distance myself from personal statements made by Councillor Maskell.
Thank you. Right, can I have who is present then? Can I have the seconder, please? Right, 9.
Mr. Chairman, in terms of those of us who weren't here, why is, I understand the statement that Councillor Seligo has just made, but why are people against the minutes?
Well, there is the minutes, as far as I can see.
Jean, your point or your request is clear, but why thereafter are you not supporting the minutes?
I'm voting against the motion to approve the minutes
Yes.
on my personal basis.
But is it, there must be, okay, personal basis, but there must be some reason for that.
I don't actually disclose that. All I have to do is to vote on the vote to be recorded and I vote against the motion to approve the minutes.
But from where I'm sitting, that sounds disruptive as opposed to supportive or helpful.
Do I have the right to do that, Mr. Green?
Well, the chairman is asking the council to agree to the minutes of the last meeting. If the last meeting minutes are correct and council agree they're correct as a recording, that's what you just need to agree on. If there's any further statements you want to make, which is what you've made, then I will record that statement. But really, you're here just to accept the minutes. And even if councillors were not at the other meeting, the law clearly says you can still agree these minutes. So are the minutes correct? Which you have agreed them, so that we need to move on.
Do we need to put it to the vote? No.
Yes.
Can I have then a show of hands for approve the minutes? Okay. So they're approved. Chairman's report.
Mr. Chairman, will you be signing those minutes now?
That's right, yes.
Well, I've got to put them on the website. And I probably should put the signed copy up on the website.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we've got 3 members of council that are saying the minutes are not correct. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure what involved in saying.
Okay, sorry, that wasn't clear that you're abstaining, so could we just be clear that either there's abstentions or we're saying the minutes are incorrect?
Abstain.
Thank you. Dave, thank you. Jean?
I'm already told Mr Gray that I'm voting against the motion to approve the minutes.
You're voting against?
Against the motion to approve the minutes.
So that implies you think there's something wrong with the minutes. Is that correct, Steve?
Yes.
Are we allowed to discuss that point, or is that, we just move on?
Well, the councillor might decide not to explain it, but the majority have agreed the minutes, so therefore the minutes are agreed.
Agreed. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Right, we'll move on then to Chairman to provide a monthly report. At the October Parish Council meeting, there was an agenda item, hire of equipment for use in the park. Unfortunately, during this item, Councillor Wallace made a statement about what he described as unapproved, unauthorised statements made by me some 6 months ago. I remarked, an accurate one. I withdraw that remark. The Council has published a correction some months which was approved by the full Council, and I have abided by earlier decisions of this Council, a decision to move forward. Right, we'll move on further. Just some minor things that have arisen in the past. We've had a long outstanding issue with regards to the lamppost that was knocked down in New Road and stayed in the pavement and has been asked to be removed. The cost of removing that lamppost is £96 plus VAT, and to make it safe in addition to that, to replace it completely would cost £1,331 plus VAT. So it's councillors really, if they want to make a decision now or later, whether they want to replace the lamppost or just have it removed.
Can I start on that, Mr. Chairman? If we have it removed, is that like removed and you can never have it put back, or could in a few years' time, perhaps, if the finances are in a better state, we could have the...
Well, certainly.
Is it, I mean, is all like the bits there for it to be connected up again?
Well, the connection will be underneath the grass there, yes, it
Yeah.
can be connected again.
Okay.
Do councillors want to make a decision on that now, or shall they give some thought to it? No, don't
I was going to say,
make a decision, shall
well, I might start the conversation going. I think it's a hazard as it is. So my proposal would be to have it removed, but legal wise as a condition that we can replace in due course.
Seconded.
Agreed?
Yeah, that agreed. Do we need a show of hands? No. Okay. Jean asked for a caution deep water sign for the pond. I got the price of that. It's not too expensive. It's £26.71 plus VAT. I should think you probably agree to go ahead with that.
We agreed also to have a roster inspection and sort of decide whether or not we needed a safety ring or whatever.
Well, yes, well that will be done, yes. The other thing that we've got quite a lot with regards to houses being built in the village, I think we're well known to all. There is of course a thing called a new homes bonus funding, a funding that's made available as part of government, the new homes bonus scheme. AVDC has made a share of the new homes bonus allocation available for grants for funding for communities that have been affected by the growth. And applicants or applications will need to be made and demonstrate a business case with the impact on growth in the relevant area and the need for communities to support the proposed investment into a project. Now, we did a survey of the whole village some 3 or 4 years ago, and amongst other things as to the number of houses we would like to see in the village, there was also a suggestion, and I'm not saying this is what we need to go for, but many of the villagers would like to have seen a pedestrian crossing outside the Anthony Hall. We did explore it, but the cost was too great. But that's the sort of thing, the sort of project which is affecting the village that we'd possibly go for, if members wish to give it some thought.
Chairman, sorry, do we know the level of this bonus?
There was a figures actually published some while ago. Carol's now frowning, but how much was available to each village, but that's going back a little while. But I mentioned the pedestrian crossing that was here, but I believe Wadston used their new homes bonus for a pedestrian crossing.
We can use it for pedestrian crossing.
Anything that affects growth, if we can justify it.
But also, I mean, under all these planning things we're going through at the moment, section 106, which means they have to contribute to the local amenities and stuff. Unfortunately, as far as I know, Carol will probably tell us, that doesn't necessarily, even though it's our village, it's getting bombarded with houses, have to come to us,
No, it doesn't have to.
which is outrageous,
No.
really, that the council can take the money, impose the houses on this village, take the money and then don't give it here. I think it is absolutely, and I reckon that's got to be strongly forceful by the parish council to get some of that 106 money.
Well, we have
And
had
even if we don't get it, we've got to make ourselves so annoying to them that they think twice about handing all this wretched stuff out all the time.
Well, we have had the 106 money, and we have still got some of it at the
From
moment
what?
from developments in the village.
And what, is that yearly? Do we get this?
Oh no, only on each development.
So what was the last development we got the
The
106
last
on?
one was, no, there was 4 houses developed on the estate, Rothschild Avenue way.
And, I mean, actually, it's been
No, it's
tremendously
not.
beneficial to the village. And this council and the park have benefited enormously.
Yeah, less beneficial than not having 100 houses, but yeah, I'm sure.
Well, that's your view. I think, we're just talking about the money that we can get, and I think that, I mean, Carol will tell us, but I think it's up to us as a council to put forward a case for whatever we want. And, they will consider those things.
Historically, but sorry,
Yeah, that's fine.
Historically, the rules governing the 106 expenditure have been that it's, I don't like using the word compensation, but it is an allowance
Yeah.
in lieu of public land in a given development. Therefore, it has been expressed that it can only be used for recreational purposes. Hence, a lot of the equipment in the play area in the park, it has been funded by previous 106 money. The potential issue we have, or we're coming up to now, like some of the trim trails.
It was all paid for once,
It was
money.
all, wasn't it?
All of it, 29,000.
And the disabled facilities.
Because I mean, you've got lots of things in this village that need doing, like pathways and stuff that are crumbling away in Green End Street, the weeds coming through.
But 106 money won't pay for
It
that.
won't do that.
It's not recreation.
It's not recreation.
And it's also got to add value. Dave Wallace and hopefully later we'll be talking about trying to get our football pitches sorted out. That will be, that isn't reparation, that's actually improvement. So.
On a point of detail, Carol will correct me. Section 106 money is not strictly for recreation. It's put aside for specific purposes, one of which may be recreation. But I believe Section 106 money from the Arla development was used to pay for traffic lights.
So if we're getting increased footfall up and down Green End Street with the building of houses and stuff like that, then repairing footpaths and stuff and getting them up to standard, it's got to be a reasonable claim.
Yeah, well,
It needs to be.
I'm not. We should apply and see what happens.
It needs to be into the actual planning application. It needs to be agreed with the order, I believe.
Maybe there is a way. Maybe there's something new that can.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Let Carol.
What I'll do, I think, is I'll get the information sent through for your clerk, to understand that the new clerk who's starting shortly. I can get all of that through, I can get new homes bonus, but basically, section 106, particularly for leisure projects, best thing you can do is to have a list of those projects, maybe in the park. You can't use it for maintenance or repair, but it could be, to improve the facilities, or increase them, make them bigger, something like that. So what I'll do, I'll get you a list of what you can have. If I put it that way, then you've got a shopping list ready when any money comes your way.
Yes, but the next development we'll get 106 money is Tablebridge Road.
Yes.
And that's substantial, isn't it?
It is, yes.
But Richard, before that, if you remember, this is where it went a bit wrong. I can't remember which development, but some went to Wendover. to the schools. We
Yes.
didn't actually get any, did we?
That's
Um,
right.
I
Yes.
think
For
that's
our
Western
school.
Road, isn't it, though?
No, that's Brook Street.
But yes, Wendover got some for
Yeah.
our, for their schools, you know.
Yeah, well, I know that's what one of the, doesn't say mean it comes to us, that's one of my big bugbears. We're taking the brunt of the housing and not getting,
No, I mean, obviously John Collett perhaps should have some because they have the older children,
and they
you
go
know.
from here as well.
Yeah, but, you know, we have a school for our
Yep.
village and they should have had, you know,
Well, that's gonna need some more space, I would think, the
Mm.
number of houses that are coming.
Historically, I become director of the parish, but then there was a change in the law that the money then went to AVDC, who banked it, and
Yeah.
then we have to apply to AVDC to have our own money back.
Right, okay. Carol smiles. Okay, thank you, members. We'll move on from that then. We've got Clark's monthly report, but I doubt if Keith's got one. Finances, to approve the payment of finances, there have been circulated numbers, and Joe's checked them.
Yeah, large about total gardening care for starters.
Sorry?
Total gardening care. Thought at the last meeting they weren't supposed to come out unless we asked them to. They've been out supposedly string the graveyard 3 times in October. What do you think?
A vast cost.
Yeah. Well, it's fast cost anyway, it's £240 a time plus VAT.
Yes, I do,
I
I
just
don't think
feel-
members, I don't think we agreed that we were going to stop them coming. I mean, we can.
When you say stop them coming, that's the difference between asking, isn't it? And what you said, it's a request for them.
Well,
I thought we'd actually discussed it and it was down to us to request them. I didn't think they had a contract to come out every other week like they do.
That was from the beginning of the season. It was the growing season, yes.
Yeah, but it's not, October's not growing season.
Well, this probably would be.
Well, maybe so, but it still seems a lot.
Yeah.
It does.
No,
Are
it
they
does.
coming
I
on a
agree.
regular basis without being called?
No,
That's
no,
what-
the agreement with them at the beginning of the year was they cut the Strimley churchyard once a fortnight.
Mr Chairman, sorry, but in the finance and staff meeting last week, I asked that question, and you replied that they only come when they're requested.
During the growing season.
So who requested them to come? Who does request them to come, or they come on their own?
No, the agreement with them at the beginning of the season, last year, was that they cut the churchyard once a fortnight throughout the growing season.
All right, well, I was under the impression from finance and staff meeting that they had to be run specifically each time to turn up.
No.
Nothing, we need to stop it.
Joe is right. I certainly recollect that we were going to call a halt to their work on a very simple basis. We simply can't afford it.
Well, with the growing season is now coming to an end.
The growing season has nothing to do with it. They were not supposed to come in October, is my recollection.
Well, I don't find that was minuted actually.
I think we need to stop it now.
Can we propose that in future, then they only turn up when we ask them to? That's
Yeah.
a proposal. Can I propose that?
I'll second it.
Is that carried, members? Okay, thank you.
Can I ask who will actually be contacting to turn up?
Well,
Is it the clerk?
we're with the clerk.
The clerk will be the one, right, okay.
Just carrying on from there, what about the park? Are we going to carry on that cut this time of year or not bother?
Well, I think we've got an obligation to the football club and the colours to cut the pitches. But beyond that, I think it's a necessity if we're going to really cut back.
Especially in the non-growing seasons, it now is. It's not going to do much, is it?
I think Mother Nature might be having us with the grass from here on in.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
But unless we tell people not to do these things, they're going to carry on coming out and
That's
doing it
vague,
anyway.
isn't it? Say, Mother Nature, they need specific instruction, surely, to say, from now on, we only want it cut once every 2 weeks, or whatever we decide.
Yeah, so you'll find actually throughout the, well, certainly the churchyard stops in October, but you'll find that with the football field, it's only cut when it's needed to be cut, once it gets past the growing season.
It's not just the football field, is it, Richard? It's the whole park. We can't just not cut the park. I mean, there's obviously going to be some maintenance ongoing, I should imagine, for the rest of the park, perhaps we might need some cutting, but it's how often we need that done.
But you'll find that if you look through the costs through the last year, which are recorded, it goes down, of course, obviously,
With things we've got to know it's going to go down, because we are, well, Jeff, I'm sure will correct me if I'm wrong, we are going to run out of money if we don't address these issues and get on top of it now.
Yes, okay.
So again, is still don't know, is this on the call-out basis again throughout the winter?
Again, yes.
It is?
Yes, it will be, yes, yeah. Yeah, and
Right,
it, it's only cut when it needs to be cut.
So, well, the Euro things, did we cut them down? Did
We have.
We contacted them?
Yes, we've contacted them, and you'll
That
find
one's
that
for
two's
the last
gone,
3
and
bits, yeah.
the third one is going to go, and so we'll be down to 3.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman, can we minute then, there was discussion there that might get lost, can we minute that the clerk is going to action the cutting as required? Is that?
On both park and cemetery.
That's what we're saying, isn't it?
I think so.
So we need the clerk to read those minutes and understand that little bit of detail.
Oh, yes.
Who advises the clerk?
Well,
isn't
we
there
don't-
a parks
The
committee?
Parks Committee.
Parks committee.
And I think that's exactly the point, isn't it?
Yeah,
So it should be the Parks Committee and the clerk.
that's what should be minuted, I think.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, members. Okay, lovely minutes.
I've got a few comments, if I may. The fourth item down, 103.28, what is it? It's not a direct debit that has been paid.
Sorry, Jeff, which one?
PT Business Bill, corporate account 103.28. Whereas the 550.33, 775 and 40 quid have already gone, I couldn't see any record of that BT Business Bill on the bank statement.
The payment will be taken from the bank account on or just after the 6th of November.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
sorry,
Yes,
I just spotted it there.
You should do that every week.
Looking down the list, the Dino Rod and the Staples are
Yes.
both very old invoices that didn't get paid months and months and months ago. So they've
February,
gone.
in fact.
Sorry?
February.
One of them was February, yeah.
I actually checked on what they actually did, and it was outside the hub. It wasn't. It was the manhole cover in the park outside the hub.
Could I also point out that I think you've missed one off, which was £80.72 to Just Host.
Oh, really? Wasn't that a direct debit?
It was, but it's not listed here. So just for explanation, we pay the web service provider for the use of a bit of software, and that I believe is the cost of the software.
That's an annual amount,
It
isn't
is an annual.
Just one other, there's no rent for the hub from recording here.
it? No,
I saw your email the other day, has that been received?
it hadn't been this afternoon.
November's payments.
Other than that adjustment of the web, are members satisfied with the finances for November? Is that agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right, Jeff now with finances.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. We met on Wednesday of last week. We had two main items to discuss. One was to review the present financial situation and propose new budget subheads, and the second was to discuss the appointment of the new clerk. I don't propose to say anything on that last one. If you will say, or I'm happy to do so. if you wish.
Come on, you're...
Okay, we had two candidates. We have ended up offering the post to Julian Murray.
Who is here?
She likes to identify herself.
It's just leaving actually.
Baptism of fire in the first meeting, welcome.
You cut your hair. Something really confused me. I need to recognise that name.
If we're happy, I will put an announcement up on the website then. I've been
Okay.
sort of holding fire on that one. As far as the finance is concerned, I've put some papers around to members at the start of the meeting. If only I could find my own copy, there we go. Two of these are just factual, just where we stand on bank account in terms of outgoings and receipts. The bulk of the receipts in October were a VAT refund, that's all. Nothing to talk about.
Can you just take take us through this, because it's quite nice to see some figures like
Well,
this. Did you mind?
Not at all, Tony. I mean, in the end, and
Sorry.
you'll see from my third attachment that the graph that in the end, I think the figures just are at risk of bamboozling, frankly.
No, well, that's why I was asking if you could.
Well, the first one, the current account monthly reconciliation, is just a simple statement of fact.
Yeah, okay.
Those are outgoings and receipts each month, and the final column, the bank balance, tallies with, you'll see tallies with what Richard put out
Okay.
on his. The second one is just adding all the accounts together, the main bank account, the tracker account and petty cash. We will have to take some more money out of the main bank account for petty cash pretty well immediately.
Yeah.
The third one is the graph that I really wanted to draw your attention, because at our last meeting we agreed that we were going to target a reserve of £30,000. And if you see at the top of the page, the green line, by some sort of perverse event, we underspent in October, but we overspent in November. Quite a few of the expenditures I expected to happen in October actually happened in November. But the net outcome is we are now dipping into the reserve. Okay, we're a couple of thousand into the reserve, and what worries me is that line is going to carry on going down. And we have the inevitable impact on the precept. What I've done towards the bottom, the blue line is my projected expenditure month by month, and the red line is the actual. So I repeat myself, in October we appear to be actually spending slightly less than I projected, but in November we spent a chunk more. So my worry, there's loads of figures behind this. I could present you with pages and pages and pages of figures and you just go glassy-eyed. But I thought the chart was a way of trying to represent where we are, and the worry I continue to have is that we are eating into the reserve.
We had, which pushed things above what we normally have, was the cost of the election of over £3,000.
That was an expense that I expected in October. I did allow for that. I think I allowed 3,400 actually.
But if we work out what we averaged last year, over this period, it was £43,000, which would keep us, and not with the £30,000 reserve you were hoping.
Jeff, I mean, just on the precept, when are you going to? When's the finance committee going to consider that?
Well, we had our first pass on, I think I said the 26th of November. I want to schedule the meeting then, but I put an email out to all members of the Parish Council saying, look, if we don't get any bids, the precept will be running cost only. It'll be just looking what we have to pay to maintain the status quo. There will be little set aside for anything new. So we've had discussions at previous meetings about, we need a new tractor. We need a second-hand tractor, to replace the Kubota. It ain't going to happen unless somebody can put forward a concrete proposal for it. Money will not be put aside for it. So to all members, it's really important to get some idea of what we want to spend in the 2015-16 financial year. I can look back at past records I can look at the current year, I can look at the previous year and years before that and work out what we've actually spent on street lighting or on clock selling and all that sort of stuff.
Because it would be good not to increase the precept if we could,
Wouldn't it? But the way we're going, Tony. I mean,
so actually our new clerk, I mean, this is it's work that we're going to have to focus, making sure that we push through and see if there's capital items that we need. I mean, I don't know,
Well,
playground or...
With respect to Jill, I don't think Jill's in a position to sort of say,
Not
"Oh,
yet,
I think
no.
we need a tractor or whatever.
No.
But the deadline for returns to ABDC is something like the 26th of January,
Yes,
I
yeah.
think. So we will need to schedule a final meeting about a week before that
Right.
to agree.
That's very good, though.
I've also put out a paper that headed proposed budget subhead for second half of 2014-15, and that is what I wanted formal approval of. But these are just control figures, but it's important to have these lodged as our targets for the remainder of this year. They amount to 38,000. The reserve of 30,000 is additionally there. These, of course, will be compromised if we do not get the income that we might have reasonably expected from certain sources. But could I have a proposer and seconder to adopt these budget subheads, please?
We've just, Jeff, said we'll have no more maintenance in the churchyard.
Yeah, I've left some around. We've just got to, I mean, some of that 2,000 will pay for what's gone through already, because that's the second half of the year figure.
All right.
So we've just approved, I don't know what it was, 2 lots of payments for the church already. That will come out of that 2,000. I have to say, we've already exceeded 1 or 2 of these budgets. But we'll just have to...
It gives us a target, doesn't it?
It is a target, and that's what it's intended to be.
But you'd like this to be...
I would like formal approval of these as our targets for the second half of this year, this financial year.
I'll have to hand that.
Seconder, yes. 2 hands up. Is that agreed, members? Can we have a show of hands? Thank you. Is that all on?
No, that's all on finance. I was just going to come back to Gillian quickly, and I think we have Monday nominated as your, Monday of next week as your start date. Enjoy.
Chairman, can I, on the finances, I suppose it's very less on it, we're reflecting what just said there. I've done a presentation a while ago regarding footpaths.
Yeah.
I was asked to put together a remit of what we required. I did that, and then I was going to ask if I could then obviously get some quotes for that work. And I think it was decided that it wasn't best that I did that by the previous clerk, and it was going to be done by someone else. I don't think it has been done to get quotes to undertake that work, which then can be, obviously, once we've got that quote, it can be something that can be put into next year's precept, that we can get done next year. Now, is council happy for me to go ahead and get 3 quotes for that work? I mean, I'm quite happy to do it, but it doesn't seem to be going to happen any other way.
Well, yes, I think you can get the quotes, certainly. If you remember, we did some inquiries with AVDC and also with Bucks County Council. The footpaths are responsibility if they're tarmacked by the Bucks County Council, but if they're not tarmacked, then it's for the footpaths responsibility. But I did see after we contacted them, I did notice that members of the public whose hedges were overhanging the footpaths are actually starting to cut them, but not all of them by any means.
Well,
So that's good of you. And
I'm happy to, but I'm not going to go through that again. I mean, they have not changed since the works. They've grown, it's been their work.
Don't you think you were better off, the recreations, sitting down and maybe getting some, besides just doing the footpaths, getting quotes to do the park, the graveyard, the whole lot by one contractor?
Definitely.
Rather than using...
and green end, you know, if you've
Rather
got
than
problems,
using
yeah,
that.
you need to...
If you're going to go out and get quotes just for one...
I'll put a bit of effort into that footpath.
Yeah.
If it's something I wanted to do, and it's just not happening. And I know that, if I don't get it done now,
Yeah.
we won't have the money for it, and it'll
Yeah.
be another year without any footpaths. And
Surely
so,
there's somebody doing the whole thing.
I mean, if someone else wants to take on...
No, but
something
it's-
else, no, not the footpaths, but perhaps the park, you know, these are good points to bring up, Joe.
But Joe's got a point, you know, it might be...
Beneficial to get somebody to do it who brings their own equipment, then we don't need a new tractor.
Yeah.
I mean, bear in mind the timetable here. November the 26th is the first meeting. There will be probably at least 2 more meetings of the Finance and Staffing Committee before we finalise. So your absolute target is mid-January, right? So that's enough time. I mean, who chairs the Parks Committee?
I'm not. Who's on
There is, that was to be an agenda, right, not the Parks Committee, but the membership of committees. I did ask that to be on this agenda. Unfortunately it didn't, because Colin for one would like to have been on planning.
Well, if there is a Parks Committee, then I'm sorry guys.
There is a Parks
Parks
Committee.
Committee have got to get themselves together and put some
What are we
proposals
on then, Dave? I thought it was sport.
Which is different to the parks. But all I want to get is the quotes, that will set the preset.
Yes,
That's not
that's-
accepting the quote, we can then go to a contractor and then say, this is the quotes, can you do anything near that quote? As long as I've got a quote, 3 quotes, we've got a figure that we can put in the preset.
That's
It's not,
good.
it's not accepting it.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's.
We have, do we have?
I am a part.
Yes, I'm on the Parks Committee as well. Yes.
There's more than us, I don't know.
It's on the wall in there.
So I'll just get a figure for the footpaths and then perhaps the park committee can meet and then discuss.
Yes, okay. All right, thanks, if you would, Dave.
Yeah, I will.
Mr Chairman, indulge me for just 1 second if you would. Have AVDC come up with any proposals about grass cutting, taking over from that?
It's on its way to parishes.
That's a no then, Carol.
I will chase. I'll chase John McGinn.
Is it going to cost the parishes?
It depends how much grass cutting the parishes want. What we'll do is we're looking at the money that the county are going to give each parish, and we can come back to you and say, well, you know, you can have so many cuts. If you want more cuts than that, it will require additional funding from the parish.
I thought we were asked if we wanted that responsibility and we declined.
Well,
We declined as a parish, but AVDC was going to put an umbrella
We've
across.
declined as a parish, we're going with the AVDC scheme, but it depends on how many cuts you get with the money provided. I mean, at the moment, I think it was 6 cuts, wasn't it, I think?
I'm not sure. We've gone out to John O'Connor, our contractor, and we've asked them to have a look at the figures and then come up with really how many cuts they can do for the money that county are giving us. Then anything parish wants in addition, we'll be given a price by John O'Connor for that to make up the difference.
As presumably all parishes are in the same predicament, it would be really helpful if AVDC got this out in time for us to
I have no
use in precept
certainty.
calculations.
It's also only cutting grass within the 30-mile limit. That's
I
right.
need to clarify that.
It is, because
I need to clarify.
it is within the 30-mile limit.
Thank you.
Beyond it, then the county have to cut it as any case.
So Carol, where does the parish's responsibility? I think that sounds like a complete fudge to me. It really does.
Well, the point is that until about 3 years ago, we cut it for county and everybody else, and for Bath and for ourselves, and we had no problems. And it's only when county thought they could get it done cheaper elsewhere that then we split, as it were, and now we're in the predicament we're in at the moment. And what we're trying to do is to go back to where we were about 3 years ago, and pick up from there.
Yeah, it just sounds like the people sat around this room are going to have another something else that they rightfully can complain about in the village, because we're not going to be able to keep the grass cut, because ultimately there's going to be money required for us to do it the number of times it's genuinely required. That's how it sounds to come across to me.
Well, I mean, Richard and I attended the presentation by Bucks County Council when they invited parishes to do their own thing. A sum of money was offered, depending on the size of parish, depending on the length of hedgerow and the length of grass verge. That sum of money, I have to say, was fairly derisory, and it was to cover for a 4-year period. But we did vote 2 months ago not to do it ourselves,
We did.
but to go in with an umbrella scheme under AVDC, which is the scheme that
I'll
covers.
check that out.
The funding also, it started at one level and dropped by about 20% the next year.
And after 4 years or 5 years, it's just not, there's no guarantee that at all.
we'll observe with interest, but with absolute no confidence.
Mr Chairman, I've actually got a list of all the subcommittees here.
Oh, thank you.
Would you like to see them?
They're on the wall.
Oh, I just wonder if anybody else wants to know what they want. They're here. I was given this by Angela.
What's that?
Do you want to know the parks one? Paul Crook, Teresa Kirkland, Dave Wallace, Martin Watson. It's a park one.
Is there a football?
Yeah.
Yes, there is. There is football.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Rich Maskell, Teresa Kirkland, Dave Wallace, Tony Winterbottom, Martin Watson.
Well, thank you, Chief.
That's right, I read my folder, I carry in.
Yes. Must be all, yes, isn't it? Okay, thank you very much, Jeff. Jeff's done a lot of work on that.
Very good, thanks, Jeff.
And very helpful, he finds things I've missed. If we move on then to the settlement agreement, members, this has been debated, the main part of this, which was the sticking part, which was 2.6, I remember. I can't hardly forget it now. That's been rewritten and rewritten, but now we agreed it at the last meeting, and if members agree, this can now be signed, and hopefully that'll be the end of it. Well, it will be the end of it. Yeah.
You need a...
Oh, we do, oh yes, please, yes. Get it out of proposal and second, please. Is that agreed, members? Yeah.
Did you get our £5,000 back from insurance?
No, we're not paying £5,000 back.
Are we not?
No. That was their contribution.
They paid,
That
They
was their
paid
contribution,
5,000, we paid
so
that.
That was their
all the money was
contribution.
going to us.
No.
They paid that.
They paid that.
they paid that, we paid our bit.
They paid ours, we paid ours.
Fine.
Yeah, thank you very much. You wouldn't believe how much time I spent on that. The culvert. I expect members of the public are aware of, much aware of that as we are. We've now, just for the members of the public who haven't been here before, the culvert which is in the field owned by Bucks County Council, between here and the airfield, and then runs into our property and then off into the stream, where it passes through Bucks County Council land. The culvert has collapsed, partially collapsed. As a result, our football field was flooded last winter and remained flooded for a considerable amount of time. Now, the remedy is to reintroduce the stream. Members of the public can't see this, but in the field over there, is to open the stream up again, ignore the culvert from then on, and the stream would then run across the field and then come into our property on the wasteland beyond all the meadow bit. The culvert would remain in place. It would have like a dam in front of it. Therefore, if the water wasn't going down the new stream, then it would overflow into the culvert. So the culvert would still work. It does actually carry about a third of the water that it should do. The cost of this is at the cost of the Environmental Agency, who don't like having culverts. They want the natural stream to run as it has in the past. This culvert was built by the Rothschilds and probably 150 years ago. Actually, it's not lasting now, but to open it up again would be enormous expense. So that is the proposal from Bucks County Council. They would like us to agree to that. If we agree to the stream running on that course, then it would go to the Environmental Agency to implement it. At the moment, they've done Bucks County Council, that is, which doesn't really affect us, but a survey for voles in the water voles.
Yeah.
And then also, there needs to be a survey done, because that was an old ridge and furrow field. That needs to be looked at, but I don't imagine that council a great deal of work. But anyhow, before that happens, they want to have a look at it. There's no, should not be any cost to us, but it is thought that the field, from the football field where the stream runs through, we might need to put a fence in there with, say, probably with pig wire at the top where the football balls won't go through it. And also there is a question of access to the other side of the stream, because bearing in mind, if you see in the top left-hand corner, members, that stream at that point will be 8 metres wide, and possibly, although the water obviously at the base, but probably about 2 metres deep. So unless Colin's idea, which I would like, but it'd be a big bridge, wouldn't it?
Well, it would, but I don't see why, in the detail, if you look at the stream further down, it hasn't got anywhere near a span of 8 metres across. It's much more steep-sided than that. So why they're proposing to go so wide on it, I don't know. And if they do, there's no reason on earth why they couldn't narrow a section. You don't have to narrow the bottom. You can steepen up the slopes to give it access to a smaller bridge, rather than building up this track, which they're talking about, which is not on our land at all. It's just not farmers' land. And they're talking about putting a bund on that side and building the track up to the same height as the bund. Well, that leaves, how high is the bund? It's going to be like an elevated motorway down. It's a bit weird. I don't see how high the bund's going to be. And put the track up there, it seems, and then we've got to cross that. There will be a new gate in the fence to get to the track, to walk down over the track over the new bridge they're building for the farmer, and then have another gate to get back into that, and that's also a legal agreement you're going to have right of way through there. So there's more lawyers, more costs, more everything.
Yes, they'll have to have a written agreement, but it's Bucks County Council's land and they'll use their own lawyers.
That field there is their land, is it?
It's their land.
Right, okay, well that would negate that, I suppose, but I'd still prefer bridge access.
Well,
in fact, for the trail as well, because you've got the trail going down there.
That's one thing I was concerned about. I've got the fitness
I know it can be moved, but
it's beyond the fitness trail. Where that goes through
is past that, is it?
Oh yes, I did. There is.
I've got to be honest. I found this really confusing. I can sort of see where it is. It doesn't seem to sort of scale.
No, it's not. You look on Google Earth.
There's no measurements on it. There's no height to the bund.
Excuse me, I haven't got one of these, but it'll go through. You can see the fitness trail on the picture there. And this is the wasteland in front of the row of trees, and it'll go through there. But before anything is done, they will mark it out with posts, and we'll have to agree it. I mean,
yeah.
So whereabouts on that map is that fitness trail?
well, you can see it on the picture.
No, on there. You draw it on there, so I can see it. I cannot see
You
it.
get the impression it's down there.
Yeah, I think it's down here, but you tell me it's not
It's
there.
very deceptive, this. Even when you walk it, it's difficult to,
Yeah.
and I walk the park
Yeah.
yonks, and it's difficult to know where it is.
Well, the picture is the best thing. There's the fitness trail, and there's the wasteland.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So that's looking back up, isn't it? This way.
Yeah.
That's looking from the farmer's field. This
Yeah.
is into the wasteland.
Yeah.
I don't think they pop that.
I've got to be honest, I can't see what's our land on that and what's not.
Well, we are just a little bit in the corner. It's a very small portion of parkland. It's really from sea there to issue.
That's our bit.
That's
this
us.
This bit's not our bit.
Which is
all
our
the
bit,
rest-
sorry?
The long bit, that long bit there is not us.
Yeah, I
No,
know that.
no, that's not. No, this bit here.
Yeah, it's the short bit, but it just seems to be a random line, doesn't it? Like
Yeah, that's
Johnny
what I'm thinking. You don't really know how far that stream is from this boundary at the bottom here.
Is that the boundary at the bottom?
That's the boundary at the bottom, but that's at the moment, it's trees, isn't it? It's overgrown.
There's a row
It's
of
not,
trees.
people don't go into it.
Well, that wasteland.
Oh, is that?
Okay, so
There's the fitness trail.
yeah, surely that is this side of the bund, isn't it? You telling me that fitness trail's up in the park side of the bund?
Fitness trail, that's the meadow pitch.
But it's in the corner.
I just don't think this gives the clarity to say with any confidence, Dave. I think you're right in terms of confidence to say exactly where it is. But maybe we get a 7-year-old to do it as opposed to a 4-year-old, and we ask them.
Okay, so they're going to mark it out fine. We'll see.
But I think maybe the answer here is the principle. If we, I mean, there's got to be a little more detail anyway. To be honest, I mean, because all this business, you know, there are other people saying things as well. You know, other people, the Environment Agency are saying the way they want to see things. So I just think perhaps we should approve the whole thing in principle. And then maybe appoint
like
a couple of people or you know, to make sure it works.
This fund, it comes right up to that top corner, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is in the field, this is not in our...
No, this is right on the top, right on the edge. I mean, that's going to kill any views across farmland. If that's any great
Well, we don't
height.
know how high. I'm not
We
sure.
don't know how high it is.
The other thing is,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
but
we
Dave,
don't know what it is.
Dave, we may need that bund. The reason for the bund
Yeah,
is because there's a lot of material that they have to dig out and they have to put it somewhere.
yeah.
That, in parallel with this, we've got to do our football work because
Yeah.
we may have a place for some of that stuff.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That's the point.
Use more of that soil to level the pitch and it is to build a...
Yeah.
No, absolutely, and that's why we've got to be really careful and plugged into this because otherwise,
They'll be in there digging it out and dumping it before we know.
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, in principle it's got to happen, there's no doubt about it. But I'm just concerned about how this is showing on here. I've got
But as I said, sorry, we will have to agree to where, whether we can mark out where it goes through. And there's another thing to consider, that culvert has collapsed in the field. Someone in their wisdom planted trees above ours, where it runs through our land. So if the culvert breaks up on our land, the owner of the proper land has to replace it.
We don't want that, do we?
We don't
Sooner
want
we
that,
get this-
the sooner you get a stream going through, the better.
Yeah, because the other thing to bear in mind, in theory, that will, we've got to measure out that football pitch because that will be the best pitch in the whole park because it's going to be really thoroughly drained. I mean, that whole area is going to be drained really well.
So members,
Can I just ask a couple more questions? There was a couple of questions. This is where I couldn't understand this, where it said about option 2, which I just couldn't see it marked on there. But it says here about the option, this option 2 will take up more of the tenant's land, which would not be so acceptable to them.
yes, well, option 2 was to start further up on the Bucks County Council land, across that drainage pipe. And that would therefore, it would have started like that, and therefore it would have taken up more of the tenant's
But
land.
what this question means to you, what I can't understand, if that's the corner of that bit of land, and we build this culvert here and there, how does he get to that?
Well, because through that access, that path, the roadway.
He's going to get across that roadway.
Yeah, building a new bridge.
And option 2 to...
I don't see then how if option 2 was to come across here, how isn't it makes no difference to losing that?
No, they were concerned, I think, for that drainage pipe.
Right, so that's not right then about the tenant not so acceptable to him.
Well, it would take up more of his land, yes, it would do.
Well, it wouldn't because it's coming up here, isn't it? This
Well,
is his land.
yes, it would be, no, it would be marginally more across there, yeah. It would go across the drainage.
I'm a bit lost on that. But, and another
But it's
thing-
not on our land in any case.
Yeah. But is this the field Mr Nichols uses for his...
That's right, yeah.
And how does he feel about it all, do we know?
Yeah, he's been involved.
I mean, he's got one or two issues.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think he's agreed in principle with this subject. Obviously, he's got to get his tractors in and out. But again, I think he wants to see the detail. I mean, this is not a plan that a contractor could use to build it.
Yeah.
I think we need to move on and get some proper drawings.
Oh, definitely. No. Just one other thing, it does say here about if we our comments about it, is the culvert. There are houses downstream that shown to be at risk of flooding, so it's important to consider increased flows downstream. So obviously this culvert will increase flows down.
Certainly will.
The new. So we need to obviously that is we don't want that to become an issue.
Well,
So how do we go about that and who does this then?
Well,
I don't think, I think that's a bit beyond us.
That's very deep, to be fair. If you look at that, if you follow that thing upstream, that's very deep, 4 or 5 foot in certain places. I don't think the extra water that is now going to go through there is going to cause that problem.
You're right, but if we had another winter like last winter, it might be.
All that water's going to be going down. There's some pinch points further down.
There are some pinch points.
Yeah, but it is still pretty deep. The pinch point really is right down near the new, that new estate they built right down there where it curves around.
The real pinch point is under the road.
We need to take advice.
Yeah, but that's not.
In principle, you know, it's not to happen, but it's not a detail.
No, it's not for. It's not for. Anyway, the thing is that we need to start pushing from football points of view and everything else. We need to start pushing the county council and the Environment Agency. I mean, this is just a nightmare scenario, isn't it? The Environment Agency, my goodness.
So what do we have to do now?
Well,
Do we have to say as a parish, we approve, we
agree
quite
with in
like the
principle.
ideas, in principle.
Yeah, but
Therefore we require detailed planning.
and the final, they'll stake out exactly where they're.
Okay, so do we need a motion to propose this?
That's right, yes.
But you might want to also just say who in the council is going to just make sure it is done properly.
Someone who's got a great interest in it.
Yeah, well. Yeah, but also, it's also parks and recreation too. I mean,
I'll stick my hand up and take that if you want to do that.
Yeah,
Do you want to leave
I'd
it aside?
certainly.
Yes, because there is consideration that drainage pipe actually drains park.
Drains Park View as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
So Colin,
propose it.
Tony, you want to be involved, don't you?
I'd like to be, yeah. But I think it's good to get, 2 or 3 people.
Well, I'll do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, good.
Do it if you want to do that.
Teresa, I think that'd be wonderful.
Yes, I'm sure it will be.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll have a,
So we propose to adopt the plan of the Environment Agency in principle.
Yeah. To go to the next stage.
Detailed planning to follow.
is that, kind of a proposer, yes? Hands up, Jeff? All in, everybody, we all agree?
Yeah.
Yes, it's got to get on.
Right, members, to consider revised standing orders, parish council procedures, terms of reference and standing orders. These have been circulated, therefore discussion at the next meeting. So members should make themselves familiar. There's a lot more there in standing orders than there used to be.
Can I just a couple of words about that, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman? It's right. It's just to say that I was invited in August to form a working party, which was Jeff and Joe and myself, and we revised all the current documents and drafted new documents where they don't exist. We went into 3 key areas: governance documents, such as standing orders, financial regulations, which has been a huge change in, and the code of conduct, and terms of reference for our committees and procedures and our policies. We pulled all the template documents and best practice from central government, now about CPAL, and had a look at other council websites to see how they did it. I sent out all the draft documents, and we've now got the up-to-date versions of the 3 main governance documents. All the terms of references for different committees, and new procedures for complaints, handling freedom of information, asset risk management, etc., etc. They're all in here, and I've done hard copies and put them in a book because I realise it's a lot of paper for people to have a look at, so they're all here. I was hoping to sign some of these off tonight, but the agenda item only allows me to invite members to consider them. There's no motion to approve any of them. And because it's important, and I'd like to move it forward, I'd like to call an extraordinary meeting with 3 motions, and I've prepared the paperwork. I think it would be very important to get these up and running, and to help our new clerk, who is scheduled to start on Monday, work to an up-to-date set of paperwork, when she goes training for her training courses, because everything she will learn is what is in here. So I'd like to request an extraordinary meeting for them to consider. Could you pass that to Richard, please? Thank you. It's a lot of very boring paperwork, but
Well, I read some of it.
yes. important.
How soon do you propose to hold this extraordinary meeting? Because before it's held, the members really need to make themselves familiar with it, and there's an awful lot there,
Yes, I sent them out 3.5 weeks ago.
and I've read only half of it.
That's why I thought if I had a vote, we could come out for coffee and everything. No, here.
Well, if we're going to, before the next meeting, then it needs to be, to give members time to read them, and also probably the week before the next meeting.
Yes, I mean, there are 5 documents here which are just basic forms which we have never had, which we should have had anyway. The terms of references probably be quite handy. Get them in writing. And the other things, the financial regulations are updating from about 2 years ago. So these are things that the clerk would normally pick up on. They have things called LTM notes which come through, and I think because we've obviously
Yes.
they haven't been done,
Yeah.
and so these are exactly up to date.
Well,
And I thought it'd be handy.
Or would you like to do it in 2 weeks then?
I don't mind as long as we do them sooner rather than later.
well, yes, but it does need everyone to go through. In fact, some things that we've had controversy with, in fact, it makes it clearer. Surprised.
Mr Chairman, I wonder if a meeting in the week starting the 17th of November would be appropriate.
That's what, well, okay.
A couple of weeks time.
2 weeks time,
between.
Has everybody had them through on their email?
Yeah.
They probably blocked everybody's emails, but
Yeah.
So what date does members find it suitable then for the week again? When?
19th of something?
Yeah.
I'll give my apologies now because I'm at the dinner.
that doesn't excuse you from going through my board.
No, we can ask questions later.
Or I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
little light reading.
And
You can always send your,
And an evening meeting too. It's all right for someone else to retire.
So when are you suggesting?
Well,
Wednesday
Wednesday
the
the 19th, but I mean, would another date in that week be? The Tuesday or the
No,
Thursday?
can't do Tuesday.
Thursday?
No, can't do Thursday.
let's go for Wednesday.
That's all right.
Wednesday.
I like the sound of Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll just-
Thursday scouts.
we'll
What
go-
time? Tuesday my son referees in Aston, but
So if Wednesday is the most, when most can attend, but those who aren't attending, please read through it and send in their views on anything.
So is there a time?
Well, I would say 7 in the evening would probably.
Okay.
Okay.
It's Tuesday the 25th. Wednesday 25th.
Oh, sorry, 19th. I've got.
Oh, it's
Wednesday
all
the
right.
19th.
I've got another meeting on the 25th. Okay, well, thank you. Right, thank you for that, Jean. We'll move on to the Christmas float. That's been circulated. And looking at Joe.
well done, mate.
Well, you do it so well, Joe.
Not as good as that man over there.
You're tired.
I'm retarded.
Are you available, Joe? Don't say
What are you
that.
going to say?
It's the
You
20,
supply me with alcohol.
it's the Sunday before.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I think we got 4 volunteers from councillors who, and the David Ward, who stood over there, ably assisting with the scouts and the guides will be coming. Yeah. I've written to Ian Rennie, and they're going to provide us with the containers and also an authorisation and I'll get a permit from ABDC. So we just need someone for a few of us to put the sleigh together ready for the 21st.
Yeah,
And feed the reindeer.
that's right.
Have you decided whether it's going to be?
Oh yes, the route is the same as last
No,
year.
I meant the money.
Oh, the money. Oh, that's the only thing. Ian Reddy, obviously, because they will get. But also we did divide the rest up between the guides and the scouts.
Guides and
But
scouts,
if that's agreeable to members,
Yeah,
They will.
then
Well, they're doing the movement, aren't they?
yes, and they're considerably faster than we were. Okay, thank you. That's agreed then, members. And then on the Saturday before, we'll be putting the sleigh together. Thank you. Remembrance Sunday. Teresa's going to reassure me that everything's in order and we're all ready to go.
Well, in theory, it is Remembrance Sunday. There is a rehearsal for anybody in uniform on Saturday, 10 o'clock in the church. So anybody that's marching in a uniform, hopefully they can be there so we can practice that. And also we need to practice the laying of the wreaths on the wall graves in the churchyard afterwards, because it all gets a bit higgledy-piggledy, and we'd like to do it a bit more properly normally. Also, the service at the War Memorial is the same, but it's taking a different route this year, because we would like to actually be at 11 o'clock and actually have the, let me find my, we want to be at 11 o'clock with the 2-minute silence, because we never quite make it. We can hear Holt and their guns going off, so the idea is we'll get there at the same time. The parade will form in the post office car park, so they can actually march from there with the flags into the War Memorial, because we only have the flags in there now because it got a bit congested. The RAF will park on the bus stop and they will march to the War Memorial from the bus stop, and they are going to be on the road like they were last year, with the small people, cubs, brownies, etc. in front of them, and they're quite happy with that. The parade command, well, we're going to shut the road, it says here 10:48, but I'm going to say I'm going to say 10:45, because we've got to get them up the road or down the road before they get into the road.
Yeah, no, we're not a lot of cars going down when we've got...
No, it can get a bit hairy, so I'm going to say at least 10:45.
I get okay with power. I'll
Yeah, you get power mad. And that's when Holton, once the roads are cleared, will actually march from the bus stop. They will be brought to attention, then the prayers will be said, then the exhortation, the last post, 2-minute silence, Reveille, the Kahima epitaph will be said, and then we'll have the laying of the wreaths then, but I'm always there behind whoever to give them a poke in the right direction. And then it will be the roll of honour, which John is doing, but it's in a different place, so I'll just give you a little nod. So it's all there, but it's just in a different format. So I have my piece of paper because it's all new to me as well, so hopefully it will be all right. I'm sure it will be. It's just getting it into your head. I've heard from everybody that's laying a wreath, apart from the football club, but Emma has assured me that the football club are coming, they've got a wreath. So we'll mark out a place for them. The USA are supposed to be coming. There was a problem because at the moment nobody's allowed off base in uniform, obviously with what's going on everywhere. But at the last I heard that they were coming, and I've got a name. So if we see somebody picking up manholes in the road, it will probably be them. It has happened before that they've come and picked manholes up, but that's up to them to do that. And that's it really, and hopefully it'll...
Yes, well I've got notices done, laminated ones to say we'll be closing the road at the set times and so
Yeah.
on, so they'll be,
Well, it'll be closed regardless, so
yes,
it
well,
upsets
as long as we give them they've notice, that's the main
well,
thing.
they should actually put them up.
The
There is
sign,
a
anyway.
notice of, there is a notice of advertising.
Is there? Yes, because the order is now, that runs from one year
Yeah.
to the next. There's an ongoing order for closure.
And everybody, I think, knows exactly what they're doing, anybody that's got a job. And it is nice that if parish councillors can attend, it is the one time of the year that it is nice, you know, that you are seen at the War Memorial if possible. And that's it really.
And the church will be packed as usual.
Yes.
Yes, and hopefully,
Yes, and as a parish councillor, you usually get a seat in the church, which is a plus.
good luck.
Well, thank you very much, Teresa. It all goes off very well, but there's a lot of organisation done behind the scenes.
Well, as long as it's actually, you know, as long as you've got people to do all these things, and it's nice sometimes to get a rota going, so that everybody gets a little turn.
Yes, yes. I used to do Western Road.
Yes, well, Martin's in charge of Western Road now.
Okay. Any questions, members, on that? No. Thank you very much, then, Teresa and Mary. Right, to discuss and provide responses to correspondence received. Well, I haven't got any to put forward. New business to be discussed and noted and put on the next month's agenda. Members?
I have two items, Mr. Chairman. One's, I couldn't disagree with the minutes of the last meeting because what was written may well have been said, but it's wrong. So I would like to put patch testing down on the agenda for next month's meeting.
Oh yes, okay.
And the second item I'd like to put down is the Turpin charity.
I need to put down expenditure because we have to donate for the reef, the British Legion, and we have to obviously add that down as a thing. And we usually give the trumpeter a donation as well because he comes back from university to trumpet. So that's unfortunately
I'm a different forget one.
yeah.
It's £50, isn't it, for the wreath and the
£50 for the wreath, and £20 for the trumpeter.
I can get a trumpeter for nothing. We've got one of the young explorers is a trumpeter.
We've got 3 in Scouts.
Three. Be nice.
That's maybe another time, but we've got ours sorted for this year.
Sorry, on that backtracking this. On the correspondence, we say we're not reading out any letters that we received this month. There was one that was to all of us and to members of the public. Is that not really read out, or doesn't that need to be?
Was that the email you're thinking of?
Well, it's open.
The email?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that was a response, wasn't it, to what was said at the parish council meeting, I believe.
Yeah, because they didn't have time to respond in the time allotted afterwards, because we ran out of time. So I do feel that should be read out, because they couldn't do it here, because they didn't have time, because the meeting was closed. And
I think actually the word was corrections, wasn't it?
in what sense?
The email that came round said corrections.
Is it correspondence?
I think the reason that usually was getting one person's opinion is when you get back and forth.
Well, that's fair enough. It's not really an opinion. Is it correspondence? Yes or no? No.
I would say no. I think I would advise you strongly not to do that because of your previous history on the matter. So my advice to you very strongly is not to read that out in full council.
Okay. Thank you.
Good advice.
Sent around about naming roads.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Did that come as a letter or was that an email?
That was an email.
That was an email. Oh, that's a shame. That would have been a nice thing to talk about.
Well, I mean, there's no reason why, I mean, we have to respond within a month with our views. So,
Is it something we can put on next month's agenda? Or
well, it'll be too late then, won't it?
What about doing the extraordinary?
Well, yeah.
Same time, if we have an extraordinary meeting in 2 weeks, why not do it then at the same time?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Did the members get my suggestion by email about?
Yeah. Good idea, but still.
Well, I just thought it'd be a great idea. Do you want to discuss what was sent round? Or? I didn't have the original email, so do you want
Oh, I didn't, did you send, I don't probably get your email.
I did. I didn't.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I received an email from Mr Chairman saying that Stapledbridge Road, we've been asked to supply some names for roads.
Oh, that's right, oh yes, I circulated it.
Yeah.
4 votes.
Full roads, yeah.
And I suggested, would it be nice to be a community venture and maybe ask, because the children have been up there and to see the archaeological dig at one time, would it be nice to offer it to the school to come up with some names for roads?
Yeah.
A project or a competition or
Sounds good.
Yes, Arla did that for naming the bridge over the canal, over the bypass.
well, it would be something that would engage the children. It would be lovely to see the children go trooping up the hill to...
Yes, but it does, I'd say there is a time limit on that.
How much notice have they given?
I think they gave us a month to respond from when I sent the email. But, and also, if we come up with common names and they fall foul of other villages, they won't allow us to have it.
Would it be a nice venture to offer it to the children?
Oh, well, yes, I mean, well, suggestions yourselves. Can we do that in the time frame easily? Well,
There is a, I believe, a teacher
Sat over there.
oh, there we go.
When do you need it done by?
Well, I don't know,
Tomorrow.
I didn't get...
Well, when I circulated it immediately, so you've had it about a week, haven't you? And I think they will, if we can propose some, we can do that one.
Do you think they'd like to do it? I mean, all the children landed going up there. I mean, at the risk of
you had
having
a
Bones
fantastic
Alley or
point.
Skeleton Corner or something, you know, it'd be,
Yeah.
which would be worrying, but...
Beaumont Street.
Yes, I mean, if members agree, can I have a proposal then of that? Yes, and you're
Could you do
taking
it in the time frames?
Yeah, just pass the details.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
yeah, and if you could come back to our clerk.
Yeah.
And would there be some kind of
So you can see which of the roads are.
prize before we've chosen? Or?
Yeah, you get the road names after.
Yeah. Yeah, we felt taken by it. Can't afford it.
I'm
got-
saying,
we
I can feel the vibes
Yeah,
of
got
the
money.
finance.
No money.
We'll think about
Okay,
it.
Prices will get better.
thank you members.
I'll buy them an apple.
It's a self-fulfilling prize, isn't it?
We have planning on it on every occasion. The plans are always here for members of the public to view. Most of the ones we get through are not controversial. They're minor amendments to people's houses. But of course the big ones become...
Yeah, just to say, Mr. Chairman, perhaps I have noticed that there usually was a meeting of the planning committee prior to the parish council meeting, but I think with our new clerk, we've got out of sync with processing and having the right meetings. I think when the clerk starts, we can get back into a routine, because there are one or two, as you say, there are not many planning applications which are material, but those that are, we need to give them a proper airing.
Oh yes, yes. We're also often got a time limit on the return.
We have, yeah.
But that tends to get extended, but yes, the major ones do need to be...
We have managed to reply in time. You know. Anyway, I'm just suggesting that part of the job description of the new clerk needs to be to make sure that we process those applications properly. I mean, John Watson is terribly helpful.
Oh yes,
And,
so terrible.
so if that's all right, perhaps we can get together when you've been in post a few days.
Oh, Tony, you're too sharp.
Planning committee's Tony and Joe.
Well,
Yeah,
yes, I
well,
mean, we should have been on the, as I
Yeah.
said, it should have been an agenda item on the committees, because some of them are rather light. If members don't like the proposal now, it's now to see that we propose that Colin joins the planning committee.
Right.
I'll have to propose that.
Seconded?
Yes.
Is that agreed?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
there are other committees that do, as I say, do actually need new appointments on them. Okay. Public participation. Where do we start? Anyone with a hand up?
Hi. Just referring back to the beginning, the new homes bonus and the application for 106 money. Does that have any ticking of boxes influencing that we agree towards the new builds if we apply for those?
No, it's a done deal by then.
So
They've already got, they've already got the approval, and that's when the 106
Yeah.
will come through, so, no, I don't think it would appear that we're being, not reacting enough to the proposal, no, I don't
Yeah.
think it's
So the
like that.
decision's made and then we apply
Correct,
for the
yeah,
new
so it's
homes
not as if
bonus.
it seems
The
we're taking a
application doesn't
bribe.
say yes, we want the houses,
No.
is what I'm
No.
saying.
Absolutely
Okay, good.
not.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else with a hand up? There we are.
Yeah, has anybody read the inspector's decision on Chapel Drive?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think about that?
Well,
Well,
it's going ahead.
it's going ahead, yeah. What else is there to think about?
Well, I read the whole thing from top to bottom,
Me
Yeah,
too.
me too.
and was obviously involved in the Chapel Drive thing, trying to fight it, the lace thing. It turned over on virtually all the points that we raised. The inspector, I thought, to be fair to him, he did do his stuff. He went through it. There were some big factors that he picked up on. One of the major one, of course, is the 5-year plan that we haven't got. That is always going to catch us out, and especially this village as well. It designates a larger village, which means you're in line for the planning. So he picked up on that a lot. And despite that, though, saying that, he did say we did have a plan, and there were 7,000 to 9,000 house approvals, but they're not within that 5-year period. They're not stated to start within the 5 years, so he virtually disregarded 7,000 houses because they didn't have to start within that period. So that was a big thing that he picked up on. If you like, on the pluses, there weren't many. But the two I picked out was the fact that he said that granting that in Chapel Drive, in that field, did not mean that the other fields were likely to get it. And he said that the preservation of the sweep of land between the new houses and the A41 was something that was in his factor that he approved that field. So you can take out of that what you like, whether that's good. I think it was better than bad.
I think that's consistency.
Well, that's what the inspector said, so you can't. Well, you didn't like what he did, neither did I, by giving the appeal. But then he puts
He's following central government policy, to be honest.
yeah, but then he put a sort of small caveat on there.
Well, he said the policy RA14 is now out of date. So that
Yeah.
means to say we can't defend the pillage of the village. He said that there's now no longer a policy in coalescence.
Yeah.
There is no policy.
Oh, he did mention the coalescence. He said that it's still preserved by that copse on the side, on the third side.
Yeah, but he said he's recalculated housing land. I mean, there were 43 paragraphs on housing land supply. And he says housing land supply now, because of the way he's interpreted the situation, has gone down from 5.6 years to 4.4.
Yeah.
The problem is we have sites which are ripe for development, the planning permission has been given,
Yeah.
but the developers won't develop the site. So
Yeah.
government policy says, because they haven't developed the site, you've got to give more and more and more space.
Yeah,
to
I know,
developers.
that's the X number I said, but
Right, well, under Labour South East Plan, we would have had a maximum of 50 for this village would be in the clear. And I think the inspector, frankly, this is exactly what we said in June when we were fighting on Brook Street behind me. And I said, if you allow Brook Street to go ahead, you said goodbye to policy RA14. And I said this to Williams. Sorry, Mr. Williams.
yeah.
Right, and he said, it's all right, we'll fight that on landscape. I said, if you fight Chapel Drive on landscape, you will lose, and they have.
Yeah, he picked it up because most of the landscape is designated moderate.
Right. Right, now the other point that was said, right, car licence is dead, RA14 is dead, there is no policy on traffic. The highways withdrew their evidence on display. There's no policy on road safety. There's no policy on infrastructure, schools or medical services. Anybody who's interested in the school, or is a parent or grandparent, please go straight to paragraphs 105 and 106. And he says that, the inspector, yeah, obviously extra traffic will be a potential source of danger to children, but these problems are not confined to Aston Clinton. So that's that. Tough luck there. And what we have now, we have predicted 10% increase in housing stock in 5 years, plus on top of that College Road South, and this opens the door to College Road South, plus on top of that the one behind Western Road. You can look at 15% increase in housing stock in 5 years and no extra infrastructure. And that's because if you vote for this man and the Bullingdon Club, that's what you get. Sorry guys.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Good point.
Sorry to bring politics in it.
Well, no, that's come
sorry,
from,
Carol's done their best.
that came as well from
Central government policy.
It's come from other places as well, that you won't get a change unless you change the government.
That's too late.
Thank you. Carol, you want to say something?
If I could say something on that, yeah. We're absolutely devastated by that appeal inspector's decision, because it's taken away overnight a lot of our planning policies we were relying on, such as RA14.
Precisely, Carol.
The way he's decided the 5-year housing land supply, if I could say that there is no government methodology on how you determine a 5-year land supply. So you can take the figures, you can take them in any way you like. With the same set of figures you can prove you've got an over 5 years, but what he has done, he has proved not only that we have under 5 years housing land supply, but he has said that because he's gone back to 2001 and said that we have not been delivering 1,000 houses a year since 2001. Therefore, we have been under-delivering all that period. Therefore, we must have a 20% buffer, not a 5% buffer, which pushes it up even further. I have raised the point that in 2001 we were not a growth area, and we were just discussing how we could, well, share with Milton Keynes 5,000 houses under the county structure plan. However, that, you know, if you start looking at 2004 when South East Plan came in, the fact that we as planners cannot force developers to actually build on the land on which we've given consent just seems to pass everybody by, the planning inspector, the government, everybody.
But this guy, Councillor, but this guy, of course, has forced him to do it.
Well,
It's got to start within 18 months.
But, you know, you get the big ones in there, and unless you have a use it, lose it, or pay for it, which the government refuses to bring in, they will just sit on land. We cannot force developers to build. We can give as many planning consents as we like, but it's up to them to decide how to build. So unfortunately, he's also looked at the, we usually go around and ask developers how many can you build within the next 5 years and so on. But he's looked at that and he's taken a percentage of that figure as well. I've got the feeling that he wanted the answer in the back of the book, which was less than a 5-year housing land supply. And he's just been using the figures, probably figures given to him by the developer, in order to reach that decision. And of course that takes away the 5-year housing land supply. Once that's gone, well, you know, all the opportunistic applications come in. As you said, these opportunistics, they do not give us the infrastructure we require. There's a cumulative effect of them as well. And just on the Chapel Drive, when you mentioned that, I don't know whether you saw, but they are actually giving Bucks County Council £32,000 for that. I've taken it up today with Bucks County Council and said, you've got to get out there, you've got to ask for a certain amount of money per dwelling. Even if you argue it later, for goodness sake, you know, put up a bigger sum, because 32,000.
That's the 106 offering, is it?
No, no, it's the highways offering.
Oh, the highways offering.
Yes. It doesn't go with section
Not
106,
quite
it's
the same
section
thing.
something else
No.
for highways. But it is similar to that. 32,000 for 47 houses.
Sorry, Carol, I think the 32,000 is supposed to be spent on real-time displays at the bus
Yeah.
stops.
But that's
Oh, that's
never-
right, yeah, he did say that.
Utter madness. And really, I mean, this is completely mad, because with no improvement in infrastructure, the school is now full. And, I mean, okay, I'm not a parent, so I can say it doesn't bother me, but I think it's very, very bad for social cohesion. And the plan is, if you look at the Brook Street report, the plan is that excess children are sent to Wendover. How do you determine which go to high school and which go to Wendover? There's no explanation. It's completely bonkers. Absolutely mad.
And Carol, we need to get in early, don't we, with the developers, with the 106 money, if we're wanting to expand it wider than just leisure.
Yes, I'll get some information on that and I'll pass it back
Yes,
to
because
you through the clerk.
it could be used positively in the
what we
village,
can-
couldn't it? But where we
See
really
what we
need.
can do.
Scan.
Yes, we want something off-site, but there are limits, I know, on what you can use it on. I think then you need to decide what you will use it for. But just to say, no, you're not buying planning, you know, you're not paying for planning consent then if you're signing 106s, because those are legal agreements and they're signed with the district council, and so your agreement will be with the district council and not with the developer.
Okay, yes.
So what Salisbury Vale's plan? I understand you've obviously engaged a new guy to do the whole planning process, haven't you, for this new 5-year plan? Is that pretty much where we're at the moment? That's the only thing we've got to do?
That's where we're at the moment.
And he's talking to all the necessary councils nearby, I understand, as well, like Milton Keynes and Newton.
Yes, I met with my counterpart in Milton Keynes today, but yes, we have. What we have, we've got the first run through then of the figures for our own housing needs, and that comes up to about 1,000 houses a year. So in the next 20 years, you're looking at 20,000 houses.
Right.
We need to look at these as well. We need to look at the retail issue. We need to look at the economic development issue as well on those figures. But that's what it's come out at.
And is it looking like 2 years before the whole thing's agreed? This is what the words
Before
are
it
in
actually
Maastricht?
goes through, I think it will be. But we are also working in conjunction with Wickham, with Chiltern, with
Sure, and that's the
Coram,
trouble.
Central Beds, Milton Keynes. We're all going through it about the same time as well with our new local plans. So the duty to cooperate will definitely be there this time.
So we've basically got 2 years to defend ourselves
you
before we've got
need-
anything to stand on.
You need that 5-year housing loan supply. To be
We do.
frank, the ones that are going through at the moment, we probably need something like 500-600 houses in order to get up to a 5-year housing loan supply. So all these that are going through, if we can add those up and they're coming up to about 500-600, we'll be back at 5 years. But remember, you start then developing them out, and once you've completed them and sold them off, then you need to start
start again.
replacing those in some way.
Okay.
Hang on.
See, we're lumbered with Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes has expanded its population, I think, by 17% in 10 years. It's on par with Tower Hamlets, Newham, Greenwich, and a lot of other lovely places I can mention. So therefore, we are completely lumbered with their population increase. And they are loaded. No, I'm sorry, well, it's government statistics. Sorry.
Yes, but what, I mean, you're talking well about it, but what do you propose we do then?
Well, people can go back to Labour's South East plan, aren't they? I said, pity, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's not a proposal, that's a, that's a hindsight vision.
Well,
So.
my proposal is you cannot fight it because there are no policies left. They've taken away all policies. This started 6 months ago with the one we were fighting. And it was perfectly clear they were not going to enforce policies that protected the coast.
No.
So the first time in 60 years, we are not under threat. We're simply, and it's not just us. The developers
I know, there's lots of other villages, same
they're
problem.
rampaging across Aylesbury Vale because they had that opportunity. And the reason why they like Parish city development on villages is because they don't have to put the infrastructure. Quite straightforward, quite simple. It's cheap. It's a cheap
Yeah,
enough,
Greenfield's cheaper than Brownfield.
But of course, unfortunately, I mean, so many people say to me, John, we moved to a village. We like village way of life. Well, you can kiss that goodbye because the government have other plans. And just one other point. On Brook Farm, flood
your
risk
time is limited.
assessment. Yeah, I know.
We're interested.
Flood risk assessment. Well, I think people are interested.
Well, of course we are, John.
Right. Flood risk assessment on Brook Farm said that it should be treated as one big site. And also, number 24 Brook Street actually flooded in February 2014, Mr. Crowley. So they can say it's a 1 in 100 year opportunity, whatever it is they call it. It flooded last February. Nonsense.
Can I just replan the culvert to make sure it floods?
Because
The answer's in your hands, sir.
it is, because further down the street is where that gentleman's house
Precisely.
flooded. Yeah.
Flood down there.
Oh, yes.
Richard, today a big notice board went up on Aylesbury Road for proposal to build houses, obviously Christmas tree field.
Oh, yes.
I brought it to your attention in June or July at your council meeting. Obviously we don't know how many is going up. The owners have said they're proposing anything from 80 to 200 houses. So the board's gone up today with Sterling. So have you any information, or if not, can you let us know
Yes,
on
it's-
Aylesbury Road as to what development might be going on?
We'll find out that, Josie.
Sorry?
We'll find out, Josie.
Well, it's gone up today,
Yes,
so...
okay. Lady Porter.
At the last meeting, Mr. Chairman, you said you had an interest in the Brook Street field where the planning application is for 91 houses. You said you couldn't write a letter opposing it. Are you prepared to tell us why?
Well, we did oppose
We
it,
did
but I
oppose
wasn't
No,
going
as
to-
an individual.
as an individual,
Yeah.
not before the parish council themselves had made a decision on the Once the parish council had formed an opinion, then that's fine. But I wasn't going to go forward on my own.
No, but you said as an individual, your wife opposed it, but you didn't because you had an interest in
No, I have no
field.
interest in the field at all.
So you're just
But
saying the interest is that you couldn't?
I couldn't,
you felt you
I would go along with what the parish council's decision was. That's the only difference. I have no interest in the field. If I had, I'd be very rich if it's developed.
So, sorry, I'm
You-
not...
no.
No, why
As a
didn't
parish
you write
councillor, I
why
wasn't going
didn't
to
you
make
write
an
a letter?
individual objection to it until the parish council had actually formed an opinion, and that was the view of the council. But there's nothing to stop my wife as an individual writing it.
Do you give up all rights then, as an individual, when you
Oh,
become...
no, not at all, not at all. But if we're going to make a decision on something on planning, then it's better as a councillor to make a decision as a whole as a council.
Before you can then yay or nay?
Yes,
Josie mentioned the board that went up by Sterling's, which is opposite John O'Callaghan's field. While out today, there's a further one gone up next door to number 95. So on exactly the same road, about 200 feet, just before
91, is it? Where's that then?
95. That's it. 95, right next door. Application
On the same side, is it?
on the other side of the road. Yeah.
We're on about the same one.
That's
Opposite
the same.
O'Callaghan's.
So is it the one...
No. There's one opposite O'Callaghan's and one on the same side as O'Callaghan's, next door to number 95.
So is that for the land behind
Yeah.
behind the lawns?
Yeah.
So it's gone up today. I knew it was
Yeah.
coming, but it's gone up today. That's
The
50,
land behind the lawns.
that's 50 houses, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know because it doesn't say how many on it.
Yes. There's, can I make a comment? Mr. Yarby's put something up on Facebook giving details of 3 sites, only put it up about 45 minutes ago. The first one is by 95, which is 50 houses. Then 34 to 26, Aylesbury Road is 9 acres, no number of other houses. A third site to the side of 68 Aylesbury Road, which is 14 acres.
Actually, there's 8 acres behind my home, not 9.
Yeah, I'm just reading straight off the website.
Okay, thank you. Oh, yes, Carol.
Yeah, I'll check all of these out
All right,
tomorrow.
thank you very
As far as I know, we've had no pre-application advice, and our
About
planners
3
probably
o'clock.
don't know anything about it at all. But I will check, so again,
2 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. For the rest of the meeting, due to the confidential nature of the business to be
Can I
transacted.
just ask my question about the allotment? Did you guys at the last meeting agree to because I thought you said that you would all stand by the rules that you,
Yeah.
the tenancy agreement, was that not fact?
Yeah, we said, didn't I? I seem to remember recall that we said on the notice.
You did,
We were going to agree and send a notice to those people that were not maintaining their...
Yeah, notices have been sent, yes. 2 of them were to apply by the end of October if they wanted to continue.
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, have you sent notice for them to quit because they've not worked on them
Well,
for the last 4 years?
Well, at the moment, the tenancies finish at the end of the year,
So you
and
won't
therefore
renew
the
them?
new ones, well, that obviously they'll be whether they.
I know I'm being trivial, but it means
Yes,
something
of
to
course
me.
it does.
So,
Yes, yes. But
um,
some of them worked them, and some of them who have not worked them said they'd like to keep them next year. But we'll have to see what the council make sure that they abide by the rules next year.
but that's defeating the whole point of the object.
Well.
You mean to remove, to send them a notice to say they need to, they will lose it?
That's right, yes. That's part of the conditions.
Biz will tell you
Yes, part of the conditions.
they've done nothing.
Is there a waiting list for the allotment?
No, there is, if the ones that go, then there's 2 waiting in the week.
If the ones that go, then I know someone who will do them, as you, to get them round
Let me know
collecting.
then. Let me know outside the meeting of who wants to come in as well.
No, you're missing the point. What I'm trying to say to you is, I know somebody who, well, you know him too, who will get them round ready so that other people can come in and take decent plots.
Yes, all
No cost to the council, it's just sickening to see so much toil going to waste. And then people are allowed to take them and they don't do anything and no one checks them. You're supposed to check them, I think it's once a quarter.
Can't we just terminate the
We can.
ones where
We
we've
can.
got to?
Yeah,
Surely.
surely.
We've just got to terminate the...
Well, I hope you do, because this is not putting around and driving me mad.
Do we know who, I mean, I don't know, I've just been on the camera, do we know who these people are?
Yes, we gave
I'm not maintaining,
paperwork.
we do know that.
We do.
Fizz prepared a document, a big one, and we left it on the desk at the last meeting with Jean, and I hope someone, I bet you've got it, have you? Lots of pictures?
Mr.
Pardon?
Chairman, I'm sure the
Put
new
them in the
clerk,
bin?
It's probably in the...
Oh,
I'm sure the new clerk will take this on because it's a clerk's job. And
Oh,
just
yes,
for the record, that there is an allotment law which you have to follow certain procedures. So as much as you'd like to turn somebody off a plot, you have to follow a due process first. So that might
Well, you have to give them notice.
please, can we start the process? Yes. I know you're going to be busy. Let's get it done.
Okay, thank you very much. Members of the public, that's been a good meeting.